Hello, everyone, and welcome to tonight's episode of Blood and Sand. I nearly said the other one.
Happens so often.
Heresy.
So often. I've done more of them than you guys, leave me alone. Anyway, when we last left off, our party was beginning to enter into the city of Rothaven, finding a beached whale not too far from the actual shoreline. Entering the city to the sound of a explosion going off and a place being heavily disrupted, they find themselves and now in the after going through the sewers in the care of one Lander Schill, who seems to be a associate of the Raven. In doing so, he has presented a set of folders indicating the major houses of Rothaven, and as such, Rothaven's most influential people. With this, he's explained to them the details of several of them. For example, Audley the Treasure Byron, who is the most wealthy individual in the city's main treasurer and banker, referred to as the Treasure. Then there's also characters like Wheaton the Hawk Titus, who is a half-elf alchemist. And then, of course, there is the notorious Ransford the Dog Ramsay. So currently, you are all sat inside this room with him. One of his associates, a half-orc, half-elf, has entered in and explained to you all that a family that was underneath one of the ruling houses, as there was an eighth ruling house. This ruling house had been killed in the night before, and to reconfirm something that I said last time, the house of which these people were previously in, the golems of that house, because each house has four golems guarding it, stone golems to be exact. The golems have been unharmed, and the family has been butchered during the night and been brought to somehow and strung up in the dock side. This was the family that did indeed run the dock. It was found that that a family that worked under them as well had also been very recently, at some point either during the day or during the night, killed and strung up in the dock also. They have all been flayed, and anyone who knows the name of these people cannot actually bring themselves to say the name. As if to try and force it, there is a barrier or just some sort of blockage. That memory is gone from them.
The Voldemort.
So, now that you are all sat down having this discussion, I will allow you all to see as Lander points towards a large board he has in his room. Alright then, everyone. Why don't we just try to organize this out and see how you want to go about this?
Right. So we came to the conclusion that we want to go for the dog, Ramsay. We think that he's probably a good place to start.
At the moment, yeah, but the discussion of of everybody as a whole may change that. So, right, who have we got?
Okay, so
I did miss one in my earlier things, folks. So while you're looking at them there, I will just get him and put him on.
I'm guessing it's Spalding Devil's Smile Moon.
no, she's there.
So
It's the Burtons I'm
Audley-
missing.
Yeah, the Burtons, the big boys, so to speak.
So Audley oversees monetary transactions within the city.
Yeah, the Burtons are the ones that we really don't like because they are the ones that have been taking slaves and taking slaves from Duskhaven in particular, which is the whole reason we thought we would have to come here. So the Burtons, I think, are our real target, but they seem to be in line with...
The who? The Burton.
They're not there. I'm putting them on now.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Sorry.
but the Burtons are the slavers. They're the ones that we really don't like. And they're in league with the Beastmaster House, which is Ramsay's. And we came to the conclusion that we think it might be easier to get at Ramsay first, and maybe take him out, so the Burtons have lose an ally. And then, I'm not sure where we go from there.
So tell me more about this Ransford guy.
As I get up the icon, give me. I'm currently getting up the other icon for Burton.
As I
to put 'em
sip on my green tea.
That's the whiskey you took from Lander yesterday.
So Ransford is in charge of
He's the
Beast
Beast.
clan.
Yes, he's the Beastmaster ones.
Yes, Ramsay happens to be the master of all beasts within the city. He's mostly known for his incredibly vicious temper and tendency to resort to violence and outright bludgeoning force when it comes to displaying why people are not supposed to mess with him.
Okay, and I remember from last time saying that he has a wide selection of beasties at his disposal.
Yes,
Yes,
the
correct.
worst of which was probably a Hydra,
Hmm
we think.
I'll be honest, he might have worse, but I cannot actually say. He only resorts to pulling out the things when he either gets desperate or needs to make a point. It's quite rare he has to do either.
Okay. Just put some.
How big is Rathaven?
I'll bring you guys back to that map now just to show you, so give you a sec if you're drawing. It's a relatively large city, considering it took you several minutes, even several, like maybe half an hour or so, just to run from the walls here towards where you guys currently are.
Definitely not to scale with that
not to
marker
scale.
now.
It's not to scale.
Yeah, I know.
It's only 200 feet across, man. We could cover that in seconds.
Shimmer just needs to fireball all of it.
We're here, yeah.
This
I
is-
I don't even need
It
fire
took
for
about
this.
30 minutes, so we'll say that it's roughly, not sure what the best reference would be.
That's what D-doors are for.
we need a
It's a
scale.
relatively large city, I'll tell you that.
Right.
Need like a square by square scale eventually, but we'll come back to that one. So
Yeah, actually, I can, I'll do this for you.
Favor
I'm going
with
to change it so that
Burton.
every square is 2 kilometers. Because that's actually relatively decent pace if you guys were going in the sewer. So, like, from the wall, that's 30k.
Okay.
We'll say that it like took you better part of like maybe 2 or 3 hours to actually get to here then. But like it's relatively large of a city. I'm gonna move you guys back to the other board now.
Have we fought a Hydra before?
No.
No.
Okay, never mind.
Wait, has Alistair fought a Hydra before?
No.
No,
Can I roll for it?
No.
no. I'm glad that even Blue's willing to just go straight in there with me and just go, no, no.
Wait, there was definitely that one time. I was 17 feet tall in the dream, but it definitely happened. And I was bare chested.
That aberrant snake you found was not a hydra.
Still counts.
No, it
A
doesn't.
hydresk.
Ransford has a tendency to work late nights, forces lads to do a lot of difficult work. Aside from actually catching any creatures, your best bet for him might be to give him a reason to have to come out in the middle of the night or something similar, like maybe cages are broken inside one of his pens and he has to go rowl them up, because as good as his boys are, he's the best at it.
So if his pens were on fire, that might be a reason for him to come out and see what's going on.
So the main thing I got to ask here, Dal, what is the plan? Do we want to put certain families in power, or do we just want to create a mess? Do we want to change the politics of the place? What are you aiming to do?
Well, the most ideal situation would be to turn Rothaven from basically an enemy to an ally, and to do that we want to get the main head houses to be allied towards us.
Okay.
Now, I think Ramsay and Burton are the two who are not going to be allies with us because of the whole slave trade thing and the connection they have. But there are a couple who could be favourable towards us. One is the Treasurer, one is the Speechless, and I believe the Hawk, maybe? He's a very neutral party, and apparently there are rumours of him having work up north, and that could either be a good thing or a bad thing. So that's more of a questionable person.
One thing we could do with Hawk is to make it so that it is literally as unprofitable as possible to work with any of the other negative associations he may have. We know already he isn't a fan of Ramsay, so at the very least we could curry favour with him.
Okay.
So what's the Hawk's role again?
He's an alchemist.
Alk.
Master of Alchemy in the city.
So he deals with
Potions,
Explosives.
poultices. If it has to be made and it has to be taken from something and ground up, 9 times out of 10 he's the one doing it.
so supplies, cannonators. Okay, and then Spalding Loom. What did they do again?
Assassin.
Assassin.
They are the
Yeah, they're
most
dangerous. They're a bit of a wild card.
So good ally, but not necessarily going to be an ally. Put a question mark with him. So Wheaton's neutral, so potential. And who's Truesdale Withers?
She's the cannoneer, and she provided the explosion that got us in. I
So
believe
they're
she-
already an ally.
Yeah, they, I believe, are not too fond of either Burton or Ramsay, I recall.
as he's there sipping on some on a glass, he just leaves back down. She's not a fan to them. She's definitely the kind of person who takes it to the value of, I don't like you, but I hate these guys more.
Right.
So if working with her you manage to curry favor, you can get someone that you can rely on your side. Just don't fuck her over and don't be cheeky with her. Be professional.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Obviously, Lander's the 7th one, and then the 8th one is dead, so no dot.
It's not the 8th one, actually. It's Oaks the Vicious Sutton, who I never actually gave any details for, because everyone
Oh.
just avoided him. I'm not even sure if I remember if I did go through Oaks or not, but Oaks will just say is a neutral card, is out of the field currently.
Okay, so we've only got these 6 to worry about. Okay. So it would be safe to assume then that Oldly Byron, since all money that goes through the city goes through her hand, she's integral to every other clan.
Yeah, she's connected to everybody.
Absolutely.
Okay, so
But she
Crucial.
doesn't have any favoritism, does she? She's another one who's very neutral.
She's another one who's it's very much so a business thing with her.
Well, if it's all about business, then opening trade up to a very large city along the coast could be very profitable for everybody.
Indeed.
So that's something that we could try to curry favour with.
but unless we can offer her something that's more profitable now, she wouldn't be interested in cutting down like trade routes here for something better. She'd look to have both.
Yeah. Is she interested?
So-
It's the difference between immediate profit and potential profit.
She's an old
Income.
woman. She's gotten along. She survived this long by being smart enough to realize when is good business and when it's time to pull out, essentially.
So ideally, to get her on our side, we need to create negative income and then give her a good offer
Yeah.
that she would be very likely to accept.
So where does the income come from?
He points to
Slaves.
every single family on the list. The only way you could make this better for her is if you were to remove someone and put someone in their place that she could easily manipulate. She'd be able to get more coin out of them. That's how she works. If she can get more money out of someone, the better. She taxes everyone for the privilege of using spaces in the city, and has just basically managed to build herself up into such a degree that, well, good luck outbuying her on anything, including Devil's Smile.
Maybe we could turn the clans against each other. Because we've got an assassins guild. If somebody were to disappear, they would be immediately at least suspected. If somebody high up in one of the other clans was killed, the assassins guild would definitely be considered for it.
Yeah.
If somebody important were to die, that would mean that you would lose a very powerful key figure who's good at making decisions profitably. Therefore, it would disrupt the economy. So if we can take out one of the head honchos without them thinking it was us, with them thinking it was somebody else, then we could cause problems between all of the houses. If we were to get our hands on some of these alchemist supplies, gunpowder, we could technically take out a building or two, and then they wouldn't know who to blame. The assassin? Was it the alchemist? Was it the cannoneer clan? Or was it Byron herself, because she's got the most money and could afford to do something like that? Fingers would be pointing all over the place. They wouldn't know who to blame.
Who'd inherit?
Who'd inherit what?
If we were to take out, say, one of these two, either Ramsay or Burton or both, who'd inherit the position?
I imagine if it was Burton, it'd be one of the sons. I don't know about for Ramsay.
Burton's a problem, where if you remove Burton, you have to remove all of them. If you remove Stanton, Hammock will take his spot. And Stanton's an old, tough son of a bitch, but Hammock's managed to make a reputation of carving through the city like a bloated fish.
What's the relationship between the sons and Burton? Do they like him? Are they constantly looking to beat him? Are they looking for his favour?
He's
'Cause if-
smart enough to put his sons against each other, but also wise enough to know that he has to keep them together. He makes it a healthy competition between the set of them.
So they are vying to take his place eventually.
Someone has to. But out of all of them, the one he's been grooming the most is Hammock.
Because I'm thinking if we took him out, if we took out Stanton, and one of the sons, regardless of who it was, took his place, would there be enough fear thinking that they're going to get taken out, or would there even be enough fear that one of the other sons did it as a way to sort of start chipping away the competition? Or would they ignore it and just say, well, someone's done me a favour, I'm now in charge, and we're still where we were, just with one more dead body on our hands?
Sorry, say that again?
So, okay, so we take out Stanton, one of the sons takes his place. Is that son going to say, right, someone killed my dad, or somebody has killed the head of a family, this needs to be looked into because I could be next because they've targeted the clan that I'm a part of? Are they going to think...
If Stanton was dropped, Hammock would be out for blood. Absolutely.
100% right.
100%.
That could be key then.
He'd be out for blood, and he would got anyone he had an inclination was responsible for it after getting what information he could. And his brothers would support him in that regard.
Who would stand to profit the most if Stanton was to drop dead?
Out of the guild leaders?
Yeah, who would profit the most?
Well, he brings slaves in, so who requires a lot of manual work?
Probably would. Ramsey's the only other person that works with slaves and does have the same tier of business. However, it's like someone who runs a mining guild having someone who's a blacksmith as a friend. Like, they're mutually beneficial. It would be surprising or weird for Ramsey to just off Stanton.
Okay, so not him. What about the others?
Wheaton wouldn't touch him. Wheaton keeps to his own out of fear of getting his other ear bitten off. Truesdale hates them both, but doesn't have the muscle to actually take one of them on.
Does she have
and
the
they
money?
know it. She doesn't have the money, but she's the munitions. It's the thing of, if someone were to try to take on her group, they would suffer a lot of casualties in the process.
And what about...
Think of every corner of, like, her spots being covered with either TNT or black powder. Anyone who tries to get into there will lose bodies quickly.
And what about Devil's Smile? A team of assassins, what do they stand to gain? If there has to be something more that they do, if all they do is kill people, then there would just be mass murder everywhere.
They don't really kill people in the city. Only Devil's Smile is known to kill within the city. Everyone else, they make sure, is hired out to other places in the world.
Okay.
Only Devil's Smile is known to operate as an assassin in the city. But
so they deal with more sort of external trade coming in. So if somebody's giving a bad deal, take out the leader of someone else.
Yeah, so we couldn't, and also we couldn't.
Which has
pin the
happened
blame.
before. Byron has been done wrong in deals before and has sent Spalding to go dispose of the issue. Which the only reason anyone ever figured it out was because Altley straight up said it before presenting the head of the guy who wronged her.
So what we're saying after all this is, if Stanton were to die, none of the other clan leaders would really be suspected of it.
True.
Because for one reason or another they wouldn't gain from it, or because they wouldn't be powerful enough to do it. Which is why I'm thinking, if we did take him out, would the sons then suspect one of the other sons?
So long as you guys manage to make it a situation where nobody could believe it was you. So long as you got out without any indication that it was you guys, I'd say the paranoia alone would set in enough.
We could start a war amongst the sons, just sit back and watch and take out whoever's last.
That would be Hammock. All of his brothers are
I
good,
would
but
hope
Hammock
so.
will cut through every single one.
It makes our job easier if he does.
Okay, well the next step then is we'd need to guarantee that killing Stanton, the sons would definitely suspect one another. So part of that is to do it completely incognito, so that we don't we don't get detected. But the other part, because even if they do suspect that we've done it, that's okay, because we could have been hired to do it. So we need to make sure that there's connections, either in the forms of like rumors or evidence, that one of the sons could have in some way got the resources, the manpower from the other clans who are just doing, just
Doing their
being
job.
paid, doing their job, supply and demand. They don't need to know why it's being done, but it needs to come back to potentially one of the sons as being the person who organised it and orchestrated it.
Perhaps a forged letter of request of purchase,
Yeah, letters of purchase,
which means
tied
we'd
away.
have to get a letter of handwriting first from one of the sons to see if we could catch him.
So we'd need to get hold of physical evidence. Is there such thing as like marked money?
In this city? Oh, there is.
And I know the answer is yes, but is there somebody who could perhaps assist us with the art of falsifying certain documents?
That would be Audley.
Ah, okay.
She's a top for a reason. Nobody knows why, but everyone knows she is.
What's she like?
As a person.
She is.
Approachable?
If you're not talking about business, it's like walking up to your grandmother. Polite, sincere seeming. When it comes to business, she's an entirely different woman. But so long as nobody disrespects her, so long as nobody insults her, and so long as when business is done, it's done, you will always lose out on trade with her. But if you work with her, eventually you'll make more back.
Because I'm wondering if we just go straight to her to begin with to see if she's on board. Because if trying to go behind her back to try and get hold of something, if she thinks that people are coming in to disrupt the city without her knowing about it, she's not going to be inclined to help us.
Yeah.
If we go to her with cards on the table and say, this is what we're trying to do, she may not necessarily help us, but overlook things that are done.
Only if we can make it sound beneficial to her.
Oh, yes. Now,
I definitely think we could make it beneficial to her.
how would you do that then, Dartwood?
Well, connections to Duskhaven are going to be worth their weight in gold, I'd imagine, by now.
Yeah, one of the few active working ports that still connect to spots around the world that isn't entirely covered in refuse and has a very decent agricultural bring-in from the farms that you guys have on your west side.
Not to mention the fact that the Dockland family have disappeared, which makes sea trade a bit up in the air at the moment.
What if we fix that problem?
We could
What if we looked into
provide somebody from Duskhaven to take charge of the sea.
What if we looked into how the dock guild has perished? Because there's definitely a mystery involved around that. If we could solve that,
Yes.
That would help her. I think that would definitely put you... If you came back to her with the truth of it, and were able to explain why this was happening, probably help her out. Because currently, I'm not saying I have a third eye or anything for this, but I imagine that woman has already got Spalding hired, but has not sent them to do any contracts, and is just keeping them in her shadow.
Maybe we take an investigation around the dock side first and see what we can find.
More information will just always be beneficial, so that's probably a good place to at least start. As soon as we leave this place, we have to not draw attention to ourselves, obviously.
Is there a default dress code?
You guys look like no offense, sort of like shit, so you're already fine.
Okay. And I don't suppose that we're very well known around here. Has there been any rumours or voices going round?
I only know you guys because I literally got a vision of you.
The only person around here who knows about us is Hammock. Now, whether he decided to go tell everybody about the people who disgraced him and cut off his head is a different matter entirely. Either he's furious and told everyone, or he's embarrassed and told no one.
I wouldn't have thought he'd necessarily go around. And
As someone
besides
who
which, he
knows
wouldn't know
that
our
son of a
names.
bitch, as
True.
someone who knows that son of a bitch, he definitely would not talk actively about how he got absolutely ruined.
True, he wouldn't know our names. He would
He'd
know
know
our-
descriptions
He'd know
of us.
descriptions and how we look. I imagine our appearances have been burnt into his memory, you know, being the last thing he saw. So we need to
Maybe I should wear makeup.
avoid that at all possibility.
So we can walk around the city with a degree of incognito.
Hmm.
We're not names here, we're just people.
Yeah, you're just rat catchers.
So if we went and investigated the dock side to find out a little bit more information, obviously not solve it right off the bat, but if we can find clues that may lead us to places to start looking, old curses maybe for some reason, their name for whatever reason because people don't seem to know what it is anymore.
Yeah,
We
that's
could
the one
get
that
somebody
got
else
one-
to try and get hold of physical evidence from the Sons, either letters that they've sent out, the location of marked money.
I have a few people I could have a look at that.
In theory, one place we can look for evidence is that house, but it seems to me like it's probably been stripped if there is anything in there.
No, I don't think there hasn't been an investigation in there yet.
Hmm.
Golems are told to stand down by the house that owns them.
Hmm.
Currently,
So no
there's
house, no
nobody.
stand down?
No house, no stand down. So
Yeah,
they
they're
will
still
just
active.
wait. Which means you gotta sneak past them.
Another problem.
Okay, well we've got an option.
They're not the best when it comes to spotting. It's more a fact that they can tell if somebody in the house is in distress and go in to investigate. But they seem to have done a piss poor job last night.
So if we investigate the house and the
Mhm.
dockside just in general, we get
Yeah.
somebody to get information on the Sons.
I can do that.
So we'll have a sort of third party investigating that for us. Is there anything else that we need to look at?
I can get a few bodies in on the names. Well, any details that I might be missing on them.
We could do with getting a healthy supply from the alchemist. Is it worth potentially paying off the assassins?
I feel like we couldn't pay them off enough.
No, you're talking about five digits in regards to some of the gold offerings that get done between them and others.
I don't suppose there's any way we can get somebody that can monitor, like a spy that can monitor who's going in, who's going out, get hold of letters mid-transit.
What, with the assassins?
Yeah.
No. Me and them is like the thing of a wolf and a lion. They're the bosses. They take the share they want. They do whatever we want. I'm in a different territory to them, and I know better than to come in and try and mess with them. 'Cause what happens when you fuck with lions? You get eat.
No,
Hmm.
no, I'm pretty sure I've beaten the shit out of some lion.
Proverbial thing, you clerical fuck. Did you take my chips?
You bought snacks!
He fabricated them from these potatoes.
I was hungry.
That was my baked potato for later.
I'm
Why is
sorry.
it... Whatever.
I had rations, but this looked better.
Is there a
Ooh.
kitchen?
This is a one-room apartment, Shimmer. No,
Shimmer!
it's not a kitchen.
He feels better when he's in front of a stove. Here's one though. We can't pay off the assassins, but could we potentially purchase guardsmen from Withers?
Oh no, Withers wouldn't sell out her boys. She keeps them very close. They're very a matriarchal kind of thing with them. They're very protective of her.
But okay, we don't necessarily need to pay them out. But if we can get a meeting with her, she dislikes both Ramsey and Stanton. If we can tell her what we're doing, then maybe she'll give her boys the nod, who are out on parole with her guns, to keep an eye on us. You know, give us information. You know, not shoot us.
She's already helped you out once, so that already shows that she's slightly favourable towards us.
Yeah, but
She helped
also
Lander out.
she owed me a favor. We go a ways back.
Even still, we could pay her. We could be like, "This is what we're planning to do." All we're saying is, look the other way.
Everything here is professional, up to the point of, will this cost me my ass?
We wouldn't be asking her to, you know, help us. We're just asking her to not hinder us. There's a difference.
There is a difference.
I could look at getting. Yeah, I could go have a word, see if I can manage to get her to meet up with you lot. However, if we got one, it'll be on her terms, her location, her. Excuse me, that's the wine coming back. Her decisions, her location, her time of choosing.
It seems fair. You don't
And
get to be
her
powerful in this
speaker
place, I
will be
imagine,
there
from
as well.
being very open to meeting people in places you're not familiar with.
Yeah.
So that's having a map of the underground would be good as well. Like a basic idea of how to get from like head honcho locations to other head honcho locations. Because if we did want to set up a mock assassination through either like gunpowder use or even like someone approaching from beneath or from not on the street levels, we'd want it to look like it had come from a place to a place, regardless of where we actually come from. So it would look like there's a traceable line. So we'd effectively be starting at the place of the person we want to frame, going and doing the killing, then heading all the way back, and then we'd have to go incognito from there, so it looks like there's a direct trail.
Yeah, it's not too bad. It then comes to the fact of how good are you at covering your tracks. I mean, I'm going to be honest, you've got people in heavy armor here. You're not exactly a stealth party.
2 of us are okay. Everyone else...
I can still call on nature to give us a hand.
That's why I said 2 of us.
I can leave behind remnants of non-traceability, if you catch my drift.
Right.
I still have that spell.
The only thing Grunt can contribute to stealth is a distraction.
Distraction can be good.
Distractions are useful.
I mean,
Yes, but someone like that will be noted quickly.
It's true.
I mean,
An 8-foot-high Goliath.
I mean, I'm pretty stealthy.
He says, putting a lampshade on his head.
He tries to lean up against something, you just hear the wood underneath him creak with the weight.
What about Ramsey? What should we do about him?
Ramsey. Ramsey.
Mr. So-called Beastmaster. Should
How
we leave-
easy is
should we
he to
leave
track
him be?
down?
He's not a subtle man. If he's out, you can tell he's out because... Yeah, people just avoid the street. He's got a reputation for violence, if you so much as look at him wrong. He's definitely built up a reputation of aggression and... What's the phrase again?
This town ain't big enough for the 2 of us.
Liked by few, respected by many, feared by all.
Because you see, if we do take him out, it's going to be in the middle of broad daylight, so if people don't know us before, they will know us afterwards. It's not helpful. There needs to be some way of being able to lure him either out of line of sight, or we stick to taking out Stanton in a more subtle way.
The guy is interested in creatures, we know that. We did talk about the prospect of some sort of decoy creature.
How would we obtain such a decoy creature? How would we obtain such a decoy creature that is dangerous enough to potentially kill him?
Really wish we'd brought Jonathan with us.
I'm not sure you're familiar with what he could change into.
I mean, I'm not.
I might know of something. There's
I wouldn't
rumors
spend
about-
most of my days hunting bullets and whatnot if I could just chase Jonathan around the woods.
Yeah, but you're not going to kill your best friend, are you?
Hunting doesn't mean killing.
What's the point? No, it don't matter. Whatever.
It's like catching a fish and throwing it back.
Grunt nods.
Unfamiliar with this term. you
Don't
hunt
like fishing.
you hunt someone and you kill them. It's an arrow.
But to explain, I might know of one or two creatures in the woods north of here. One of my crews, shall we say, ran amok of one nearby a few days ago. If it's still around and one of his lads haven't spotted it yet, he may investigate if the right word got dropped too close to one of his subordinates who wants to look good.
I'm sure we could have a go at that.
So we could take him outside the city.
He would go outside the city.
And that's the prime opportunity.
Hmm.
Daz,
Yeah.
do I have divine intervention yet?
Not yet. Close, but not yet.
Who
You've got maybe 2 or 3 more days.
Solve our problems!
who inherits if Ramsey goes?
That's a good question.
Ooh, he's got a bunch of underlings that probably would all begin bickering among themselves. If anything, that'll just cause disruption on that side, and that's pretty much okay with me. I wouldn't mind that.
I don't want to go. I either want to hit Ramsford and take him out, or not at all. Because if he's got control of monsters, who knows what he could do if he gets
Yeah.
rather pissed off.
And he's allied with Stanton, which makes me nervous about taking out Stanton in case he's got something nasty that we don't anticipate that he's gotten from Ransford.
He probably has something or other from Ramsford.
Mm.
The thing, though, is if you do take out Stanton, Hammock will go to doing a few things first, my guess. One of which will be going to Ramsey and saying it. Giving Ramsey an excuse just to run an absolute muck through whatever he can get his hands on.
And remind me how many people you have.
I keep it small. I've only got about a dozen. Only got a few bodies.
Because really, annoyingly, the optimal way to do it would be to try and take them out simultaneously in 2 different locations.
No,
That
my
would
guys
be
are too
almost
green.
impossible, though, wouldn't it?
My guys are way too green for it, and it would expose me way more than I'm ready to do, shall we say.
Hmm.
Would the sons care if one of their brothers was taken out?
As much as you might care if one of your closest relatives was killed.
I don't really know what to do with that information.
Who's closest to you?
Jonathan.
Picture him getting gutted in front of you and someone spat in your face.
You don't have to, do you?
Yeah, you'd be fairly pissed.
He was.
Wait, really? Ugh, damn. Sorry, I didn't realize.
I mean, you drove the point home.
So taking out one of the sons wouldn't really help us. We'd just get 6 angry boys after us.
Exactly.
Yeah, it doesn't disrupt the organisation in any way because they've still got the big man in charge.
This isn't like any of the comic books I used to read as a kid. Bad guys were always bad to everybody. This is
Really?
hard.
Real life is hard.
I'm assuming that some of these slaves that come in, the reason why they're good friends is because slaves make good food.
Well, those who look like they aren't going to last long for their trip over to Distoon. I know Ramsey gets sent a few.
And I'm guessing Stanton doesn't go out on personal voyages to collect slaves.
No, he has crews to do that.
Hmm.
And if the Doc family is now gone, who's running his ships?
I imagine he runs his own ships.
He has his own ships. But if anything, I imagine that both Ramsey and Stanton are probably going to go straight for the ships now, because they're the only two that actively work together and would probably then decide to say together they can make it work.
So what hold did the Doc family have? If he operates his own ships, then what is the point of the Doc family?
I'd imagine to take money.
The Doc
Get
family
protection of the
are
dock.
the ones who do fishing. Now bear in mind as well, he has his own ships, but he bought them from that family. They do control the dry dock, and they control the making of ships. They were the ones who had... They were the providers, shall we say. And now there's a void in that space. And not having to pay people to get things for you is a lot easier than having to pay them. So that's where he may end up working from now. And Ramsey, well, he just wants more ships for his fucking self, I imagine.
Could always take out the dock.
Just straight up. If we do that, though, we
You piss every family off doing
Yeah.
that.
and we spoil our argument for one of our arguments for trying to get Audley on our side, which is the prospect of trade with Duskhaven. They can't do trade if they ain't got a dock.
Well, I'd say we've got a choice then, Mrs. Ninja. We either follow Ramsey into the woods and make sure he doesn't come back, or we attempt an assassination on Stanton and watch the kids go rampant on the city.
I would say Ramsey's been known to go out and not come back from several days, and has come back at times by himself, even if he went out with a full crew, but dragging a beast by chain.
Okay. So if he went out and didn't come back we'd have a few days of wiggle room to maybe try and do something else before people start panicking.
Depends how far out people think his beast was. If someone said it's an hour outside the city, they expect him back in less than an hour. That's the kind of guy he is.
So what's the golden spot? What is too far away that he would not go investigate, but what is close enough that
He
gives us
wouldn't
plenty
leave-
of time?
I know he's never left for longer than a week unless he's had to go out to sea. I bet he did go longer than a week once, but that's because his ship got destroyed and he had to swim back.
Maybe we use the
he
whale
also had
carcass to our advantage.
Think we could lure something to it?
That, and also it's there to provide evidence for a rumour. Hey, there's a rumour that there's some massive creature. It killed a whale. Don't believe us? There's the corpse.
There's a corpse with a very noticeable bite mark
out of it. Yeah.
But then
That
that
would
means
pique
that we've got
that
to
would
follow him
pique
out
his
to sea
interest.
to kill him. We did not have a good encounter last time with 3 very small ladies in a boat.
Well,
I'm not going to question what you lock it up to in your spare time. I respect your choices as adult.
well, I mean, this time I could buy the stuff that we need and make sure we have no more of that happening.
I'm not picturing the shark possessing us.
Well, no, but it would make sure nothing else would bother us other than just the beast.
Oh, good. Because that's what I was worried about, was having other things fighting us.
It would be nice having the cleric have, some holy water on him.
I do have holy water, thank you.
No.
Then
You do now.
Well,
Hindsight
it's
is
not-
2020.
Maybe a more land-based sort of encounter. What's north of here?
Well, you're a ranger. There's got to be land-based creatures that also hunt in the ocean, amphibious kind of creatures.
I mean,
Something
yeah.
something could have gone and caught something in the sea and brought it to land to eat, and then just left it because it had its fill. And
We
now
didn't see any tracks of it moving, like further inland, unless this thing's got like a walk, the distance between its footsteps as being several miles long. This thing definitely was still in the water when this thing hit the land, or turned into something considerably smaller. Maybe it's another dragon.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me at this point, to be honest. Though it
We've
does,
seen
we
that
did
dragons can turn into people.
Yeah, but we did speculate that the bite was too big. But who's to say there are other creatures in this world that can't turn into people? At this point, I wouldn't be surprised.
Either way, if you said you know of creatures out in the wilderness, can you describe them?
My crew ran into this large, ugly, big green bastard is what they referred to him as. About 15, 20 foot they were talking about, like, broad as anything. Tentacles and a massive mouth. 3 eyes produced above the head.
Does that sound like anything, Alistair?
I'm going to stop pressing it. Sorry.
Make a nature check with advantage, Alistair, as this is a monstrosity he's referring to.
I think I legitimately know what he's on about, but I don't know the name of it. Nature check with advantage, go! 18.
You did live in a swamp for a very long time for your life. You have heard of froghemoths.
Froggy, I thought so.
Oh.
I thought as much. As soon as he said 3 eyes, I was like, that sounds like a frog boy. They can be unpleasant.
They sound like it.
Yeah. Do you know that's where we actually derived the word behemoth from? Which means very large and unpleasant thing.
Pretty sure that's not correct, but
That sounds fake, but I don't know enough about the word behemoth to contest it.
You don't fucking know that.
Press X to doubt.
Press left to insight.
Sure, I'm probably going to fail because my insight, actually, yeah, I physically can't beat that.
I
Sure,
could, but
you're good at this sort of thing. Sure, whatever.
There's your useless knowledge of the day that's now become canon for everyone apart from Daz's people. What is he on about?
Yeah, Lander is just sat there going,
No.
Seems legit? Question mark. So we could get a froghemoth. They eat people.
Right.
A behemoth froghemoth.
actually, he does say, God, catch your bullshit.
Only just, though.
He has expertise in it for a reason.
Can't argue
In
I
with
would
this
that.
love it if he didn't say anything though, just sort of like
No, he's keeping his mouth shut.
he's just like, sure, we'll go with it.
No, he's got a little smile to the side of his face as everyone else is like, yeah, sure, whatever.
Do I remember if froghemoths have bullywugs that work for them? Because I genuinely don't remember.
I
I
don't
know
think
that
that's
froggy
actually.
in
I
nature.
don't think that's actually a thing.
Can't remember. It's the only other frog-like creature that I can think of, though.
With that check, I'll say you're aware that should they come across them, they'll treat it like a deity.
So there's a link.
They think
That's
it's a
how
god.
that's how nature works. Called an ecology. So we're in favour of taking out Ramsey first.
I feel like maybe it would be easier. But I mean, only slightly.
But we're going to need a plan for when we get back, because as you say, if he goes out and doesn't come back, they're not immediately going to twig that he's dead.
Yeah.
It
I'll
will
have it.
take. It will take a few. It'll take maybe. For Stanton, definitely, if he hasn't spoken to Stanton about being gone for a while, Stanton will get paranoid after a day or two.
Okay.
If you have a plan to move on him then the day of, or just shortly after, that's your most ideal, in my opinion.
I'd think so as well.
how would he normally communicate that he's going away for a long time? Face to face?
Face to
Or-
face.
Definitely face to face.
Ransford never uses someone else to deliver his message unless it has fangs.
Because that makes it considerably harder.
It does.
Because if he says he's... Unless we lie about the distance to the location, and we only update him with that through someone else when he's already left. Ooh! No, another thought. If we tell him about some massive creature that lives very, very, very far out, but he comes across the tracks considerably earlier, he would innately follow them because he would think that they are the creature, and maybe there's one wandering closer, and go for that one, surely.
He's a paranoid one. If you tell him there's a monster... Give you an idea, this wouldn't be the first time an assassination attempt's been made on him.
Right.
And oftentimes... I heard a story once of one of his lads was in a pub drinking and very loudly talking after an event. Said that somebody attempted to use a very large and terrifying creature to kill Ramsey by letting Ramsey enter its lair and then blowing up the entrance. All that happened was the creature burst out with Ramsey on top of one of its 8 heads, and that's now his favorite pet.
Right.
Needless to say, if you go to take him on, be ready to take on whatever creature you've been using to bait him.
What if we lay the trail for this creature, but just simply head him off before that?
That could work if you could cut him off before.
If at most the distance is a week, then we wait for him to get like
3 days out.
Yeah, 2 or 3 days out. Maybe not 3 days, because we need time for us to get back before they notice that there's something wrong.
That's smart.
So we lay this lure for this creature that's about a week away, and maybe 2 days before we intercept him. So hopefully, unless thing goes horrifically wrong, there is no actual froghemoth. Sure, froghemoth. There's no actual froghemoth there because we'll have intercepted him before that happens. So we only have to deal with him and what he's brought with him, which hopefully will be alright, and then we have to try and make our way back as quickly as we can and deal with Stanton before he realises what's happened. But that means that we have to essentially set up and prep the plan for whatever we do with Stanton before we go, so that all we have to do is trigger it when we get back.
Yeah. Now you're thinking like a Talon.
How does Ascension work in the Beastmasters Guild? Top dog?
Quite literally.
That's why he's called the dog.
That and the whole biting people's ears and throats out.
So, if Ransford was to disappear because he'd gone to fight some new creature and not returned and thought of as dead, and then some would-be beguiling hunter were to venture out into the woods and bring back said creature, hunted, would they have a shot?
I slowly turn and look at Alistair.
Would they have a shot of wearing the crown of the Beastmasters Guild?
You gotta get into the ground level first.
So it's not just like anyone can walk in off the street.
Well, I mean, you could if you brought something in to impress them.
Surely the creature that killed their leader would be impressive enough.
No, you have to bring something in first to impress the leader.
It's a shame we didn't bring that dragon skull with us.
It's a shame we didn't bring 90% of my life with me.
I can fabricate something.
Shut up, Buckley.
I'm just gonna say this now. The guy wears armor made out of bone and scale. He will know if it's fake.
He's not the only one.
Just gonna polish this off.
He doesn't just take a full plate of bullet and just slap it on.
There's some pride on
Grant,
my posterior.
Grant picks up a shield and lays it on the table, which is made out of
Dragonbone's femur.
green dragon's sternum.
Yeah, the sternum.
Yeah, chest bone. Yeah.
I like how Buckley likes to clarified that as well. Yeah, that's sternum. You know, I made.
I made that.
Get that off my
I-
table, please. You're gonna scratch
just-
the wood.
See, it says BC on
Take it
there.
up
That's
again.
not because it came from before Christ. It's because it's my initial. That's why it's not.
Hello,
Hello.
Mrs. Johnson.
Hi, Mr. Johnson!
Hello.
Oh.
No.
Don't apply anymore.
But you know, Alice don't get on your love.
Yeah.
Going now.
He loves his mammy.
Fucking done.
love my mammy so
He loves his mammy.
That's why I'm moving out. I'm moving to Norway.
Uh-huh.
So taking over one of the clans is not likely to happen.
Not for one of us.
Not for one of you.
There's a thought. Just throwing ideas out
No, it was alright. It was a alright thought.
I feel like I'm not helping at all.
there. Luckily, your silence is help in more ways than you could imagine.
Just over here eating my chips and
How many of those did you make?
I had a lot of potatoes.
He fabricated a potato, so he just took a big potato he could fit in his hand and it just fell apart into chips, and he's just holding that and eating it.
Look at yourself. Now back to me. I have a potato. Now look at you and back to me. The potato is now chips.
now chips.
Diamond brand chips. I'll eat a horse.
Okay,
I'm
so
not a horse.
in terms of action, we've got a bit of a plan formed for Ramsey now. It just sort of needs the instigation of the rumours being spread, which we could work on in a day or two.
I can work on that.
So put that to one side because that's essentially sorted, quote unquote. So we've got to think about how, when we got back, considering we got Ramsey out of the way, how do we then get at Stanton in the space of only a couple of days?
We need to know more about Stanton. We need to know more about his paths.
Yeah, we don't know. We know that Ramsey goes out for hunting and out on the streets all the time. Stanton,
Stanton will only ever go out if he can at least get 3 of his boys with him. 9 times out of 10, unless something happens that he has to throw his pieces across the board and spread them out, he'll keep his guys close to his chest because they're the few people he trusts.
What does he go out for? What does I know he gets a lot of slave
Business.
labor in. Does he have a lot of like mines, wood cutting? What does he use the slaves for?
I think
He doesn't really use the slaves, he just sells them on. He'll sell them on in the city as well, for example. Like, a lot of menial tasks in the city are done through slavery.
Say if there were to be a large outbreak, would he appear for
Sickness?
that? No, as in
A rebellion.
a lot of slaves suddenly free of their chains, out of their cages, rampaging through
Oh,
the city.
he will be there with the 7 and would then be trying to get contact to Ramsey, because a rule with Ramsey is nobody opens a cage except for him.
But what if Ramsey is out of the picture? What happens then?
Ramsey's already out of the picture, then they're going to panic and try to release the beasts, and none of them, as good as they are,
Can control
will be
them.
able to... They can control them, but nobody can control as many or as easily as he can.
So suddenly, without Ramsey controlling the beasts, with slaves everywhere and beasts running rampant, there's a riot. Things happen very quickly. There's an accident
Accidents
happen.
happen.
So maybe that's an
Are
option.
slaves and beasts kept in the same place?
No.
Das,
Stanton has his own pens.
Das, would I be able to basically pray to switch some spells around?
Take your long rest here.
Yeah.
Praise to the
We're
DM.
gonna be here for a while anyway, you know.
Sure, babe. Sure.
Alright, cool. Good.
Just because you're just like, I'm gonna just go over here and contribute. Spell, spell, spell.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, go on.
So
You're
how Does that sound feasible?
Definitely
So
sounds
long as Audley and here's a thought. Wheaton's pretty much his own man. He'll hire thugs, but he won't do much. Audley and Truesdale then could line up to be the people who save the city and reorganize the slaves and get them at least calmed down and in control. Then the slaves may have a chance of a bit more of a better position.
Yeah.
But
Because, I mean, like I said, one of the main reasons we came here is because we're not a fan of the whole slavery thing. So,
which means with your talk of trade with Duskhaven, that's an entirely new outlet of trade that's been blocked before. Slave trade is great,
Yeah.
but just straight up trade with another large city that may or may not have something scaled sitting atop its throne.
exactly.
Yeah, they'll appreciate it.
Suddenly, if both of them are then missing, it's like, well, there's a bunch of open slaves that don't like being slaves, but there's also a bunch of just now wild beasts, all of which are not very profitable.
Very unprofitable. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I get you.
And then
What if a message were to appear in Audley's pigeonhole that they're aware of an outbreak in the city, and it just so happens that some of Duskhaven's top unit happen to be nearby and would be willing to help clean it up?
This is where you'd have to speak with her. I could try speaking on your behalf, but it will eventually come to the stage of, even if I do butter her up in regards to you guys, it'll be you then coming and basically come to a situation of impress me.
I
which-
feel like if we came up with the fact that Ramsey is missing and start this whole slave outbreak with the beast, and then Burton also suddenly vanishes, that's kind of impressive. Two of the heads
Impressive?
taken out in the space of a week.
Impressive, yes, but simultaneously, you'd have to make sure you talk with her first, for the sole reason that there's gonna be a dip in funds for a little bit.
Right.
Because there is going to be an immediate drop in trade and income coming out of this town. Oh, the wine's really repeating on me. So I could send someone to Truesdale, and I could send someone to Audley. Because honestly, Truesdale not capable enough to put out Ramsey's boys or Burton's lads, but definitely got the firepower to make a bunch of slaves that are unarmed back up and pack it in.
Yeah. And also maybe provide a bit of cover fire in the ensuing confusion.
This ensuing confusion, shots go wide. Even best marksmen have their worst days.
Yeah, even if
And it's
a
one person-
non-lethal shot can still be quite damaging, and sometimes that's
Yeah.
all you need.
Including the fact that Truesdale herself was... Truesdale's not the first cannoneer or munitions expert in the city. The previous munitions expert bought her and freed her.
Wow.
Saw potential, took it. But her past life made her very quiet. Doesn't talk much. Only speaks when she has to. She's someone else who...
Sounds like somebody we know.
She does have a bit of a chatter to her.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Shut up! Nobody asked you!
I don't feel like Audley knowing what we've done would in any way, shape or form put her on our good side.
You're gonna have to present the option of she's a smart enough woman to see a late game.
What does Duskhaven have to offer that's better than a slave trade and beast? What are the beasts even used for? He captures beasts. What are they for? Entertainment?
Nah. People
Defense?
Some people are dumb. Some rich nobles are stupid as hell and like keeping fancy pets. Simultaneously, a lot of people are aware if there's the threat of you snapping your fingers and a 7 or so foot tall fanged muscular monster charges at someone and eats them alive, people are going to take you a lot more seriously. Also, there are some organizations that buy the beasts, and when it comes to states of battle, just open up a cage and point them in the direction.
So what could Duskhaven offer?
Well, trade for one in regards to crop,
anything.
which is one thing we have a great issue with.
Everybody has
It's
to
a
eat.
lot of fighting. Everyone has to eat. There's one, and you guys have good farm systems. I bloody well know we've had to nick some things from them.
I'm sorry.
We've got New Grove that's meant to be creating recruits now, haven't we?
We have.
That could.
It's starting to
Is it
a budding outpost, so to speak.
that could use a lot more workers, a lot more newly freed workers.
Yeah.
Possible employment.
I don't know about you, but I would take the opportunity to go from a place called Rothaven to start a new life in a place called New Grove.
Yeah, it's a great place. I love it. I should have stayed there, to be honest.
Resident Monksmith.
Has very good walls.
It's true.
So we have no information on the Doc family, yeah? Not even a name.
We know they were killed.
We know they were
Right.
killed, and their name is mysteriously being erased from almost, like, time? No one can remember it? There's
No
no...
one can remember their last names, their first names, and I'll be honest, the longer we've been here, their faces are blurs to me now in my memories.
So I think we could
you
still
be
go and do
able-
some investigating there.
Would you be able to give me a description with what you still have?
Nope.
Right.
I think it's something we're going to have to go and look for
Yeah,
ourselves.
I think that's like that can be our first port of call, because
That
basically...
could be your first port of
'cause
call
once
and your
this-
link in.
Yeah, once
to
this plan
Byron.
starts, it can't be stopped. So we have to be 100% sure on everything, and the only way to do that is to go out there and get more information. So currently the very first thing we can go do is go investigate the dock, but now we have the basis of a plan that we think could possibly work to remove these two people and get just generally the city of Rothaven more favourable towards us, which is what we have come to
Yes.
do.
Yes.
Because I can technically do it on a place. I'd like... Why do you keep changing my goddamn page? I'd like
I'm
to
sorry, that
cast-
might be me. Sorry.
God damn it.
Why are you looking at his page?
Yeah, like,
Just
what
having a
the
look
fuck?
through and being nosy. Sorry.
Being
We're
nosy.
in the middle of a game!
I'd like to cast Legend Lore on the Rothaven docks.
You're doing what now?
Legend lore.
Basically, the spell, name or describe a place, name or describe a place, person, or object. Spell brings to your mind a brief summary of the specific lore about the thing you named. The lore might consist of current tales, forgotten stories, or even secret lore that has never been widely known. If the thing you name isn't of a legendary importance, you gain no information. So, that might be a problem, but you can try it nonetheless.
Make a religion check.
Religion? Religion?
Boom.
Ooh.
Dun 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 dun!
They've gone! Whispers!
I would so love
Oh,
to
Shop
have
at
this
Game
learn
Geek.
fuck all.
And he immediately starts screaming.
Remember shopping game
Of course. But this is good. We now have the basis of a plan.
So step 1, we investigate the docks. Step 2, we get other people to investigate Stanton and his sons for physical evidence that we can use for an assassination. Step 3, we sow the seeds of a rumor to Ramsey to go into the woods.
Mm-hmm.
Step 4, we go and talk to
intercept him.
Audley.
No, I think
And
we
we
go
tell
talk to.
Audley what we're doing.
I think we talk to Audley first because once Ramsey goes, we have to move. That's the first step of
Okay, so-
everything's happening. So we talk to Audley first as step 3.
Step 3, talk to Audley. Step 4, sow the seeds for Ramsey. Step 5, we set up what's going to happen to Stanton and whatnot for when we go, because he can have a slight head start on us, I'd imagine.
So long as we're confident we can catch up, it sounds like this guy moves very quickly.
Okay, well, instead then, step 4, we set up the assassination of Stanton, the release of the prisoners. So we set
Yeah.
up the release of the prisoners so that we can do whatever we've got to do with that. I'm thinking explosives.
I'm thinking explosives as well.
Explosives and shimmer. My sort of catalyst that I'm throwing out there.
Isn't that the same thing?
Yes.
Exactly. Step 5,
Step
sow
5.
the seeds of the rumour.
Yeah.
Step 6, we head out ahead of time
Yeah.
and set up an ambush and take out Ramsford.
Yeah. We come.
Step 7,
We come back.
we get back,
We
release
instigate
the prisoners.
yeah. During the madness, because according to Lander, they will open the beast cages to try and deal with that, but there will be nobody to control them. So the beasts run rampant, the slaves run rampant.
I might be able to help with the beast situation.
I'm sure you could. The cannoneers try to help, and in the ensuing chaos, we attempt the assassination on Stanton.
And as many of his kids as we can.
And some of his kids. We know about Hammock, who is an issue.
Yeah.
He's going to
I have a
be.
feeling Hammock is not going to fall from this unless we target him, just because we know what he's capable of.
I also
And
don't
he
think-
is apparently the toughest dog out of the whole pack.
Yes. So, yeah.
This to me seems like a Jubei family situation. Jubei's family were definitely tough, but Jubei was the toughest cookie of all of them. I have a feeling that is the reverse for Hammock. Hammock is clearly the best of all of them, so I think taking out the rest of them won't be as bad. It's
No.
Hammock that's probably going to live to tell the tale,
Yeah.
if anybody lives.
So the order is we take out Ramsey, we take out Stanton, and then we try to take out Hammock as well.
Is it worth then, when we go for this talk with Audley, to ask her to speak to Truesdale, or at least get us a meet up with Truesdale, so we can get
Lander
some
says
cannoneers on our
Lander
side?
says he can get us a meeting with Truesdale.
So we'll probably have to do that as well before we sow
Yeah,
the
that's
seeds.
another thing we have to do before.
Okay.
All planning beforehand. We need to do before we sow the rumours, because as soon as the rumours are sowed, he
We
will,
need to be
he
gone.
will go, and we need to go as well.
We should probably have a meet up then with Wheaton as well about explosives, just in case we need them for.
Yeah, he could have some
Any
helpful
reason.
chemicals, and then of course
Because
there's
none of them two like
Yeah.
Ransford.
and if he's
Right.
he's interested in, obviously he does deals both here and out of town, so the prospect of having trade with Duskhaven is also a beneficial thing for him.
We know an alchemist
We know
for
an
him to talk
alchemist
to.
in Duskhaven.
So,
Buckley, shut up. We're trying to plan here.
I
So
know what
we-
killed the Doc family.
Yes.
Excuse me?
How?
I have a high level spell called Legend Lore, which basically any
What's the
legends-
level?
5th.
No, what's the level?
I have a high level. What's a level?
Metagaming!
I know
There-
powerful magic is how people in this world speak.
Well, there's multiple levels to magic. Whatever. It's a thing. Anyway, I have a powerful spell called Legend Lore, which allows me to find out basically anything of legendary quality.
Did you ask me who I am?
No, I didn't
It's a
ask
waste
you.
of a spell.
It really would be. But it would seem that the sea and Rothaven basically don't like each other.
The sea.
You know how there's the thing that
The
we have to
water or the
basically-
word?
the water. But
The water doesn't like the land.
well, it's actually the creatures within the water. The deep creatures. The thing that we had to give 100 gold to, otherwise it would destroy us.
The thing's dead.
No, the other thing. There's a lot of things in the ocean. I know what you mean, Buckley. Carry on.
Yeah. So basically, the basically manifestation that is nature, or the twisted manifestation of what would be nature to the sea, basically may have created something to come on land to start killing the people that were taking and killing deep sea creatures, such that like things with like massive tentacles, basically ancient creatures, sentient creatures, being brought up, killed, and all that by Duskhaven or Rhyhaven. And so there's a creature that came and basically killed the Dock family, and is basically erasing the entirety of them.
Should we send a message to Galgaron then?
It's possibly not a thing that he can deal with.
No, I meant because he fucked up a dragon turtle. He may be on same list.
No, I think...
Is there a fish equivalent of top 5 most wanted?
I feel like just killing a creature is not the same as sins against the ocean. Like there's just killing something, and then there's all of that.
Yeah, bringing up and killing everything that basically they could get their hands on.
Kill a fish and no one bats an eyelid. Spill some oil in the ocean and everyone loses their mind.
Well, no, this is basically.
I was very tempted just to be like, "What's oil?"
Lamp oil.
Basically, what I heard through the legend is that it was some creature that said to the one that it basically made this manifestation of, "They stripped us of our names, so you will strip them of theirs." And
so
all
there's a pissed god thing in the sea.
Yeah, there's a pissed god thing in the sea that basically created a man who is of blue skin tone with seaweed like hair.
I swear I've heard their music.
It's Uncle Greg.
It's Uncle Greg.
It's Uncle Greg.
But yeah, so I'm pretty sure, actually, to be honest, the hole in the whale might have been where it came from. It was within that whale, and then the manifestation that it created basically was then coming from there, going into Rothaven with hatred in his eyes.
Does this sound like any creature I've ever heard of ever?
Which? Because there's two being mentioned.
The Blue Man Group.
Make a nature check with disadvantage.
I would like to take this point to
No.
say I called it.
No.
The Blue Man Group is the reason we're all gonna die.
Yeah. They erase us, now erase them. They threw you away like chum. Now take our vengeance. Is what the god basically said, I guess.
Make a note of that.
So...
This sounds good.
It does?
If there's a creature of the sea that is taking vengeance on Rothaven for crimes they've committed, then surely that could help us. It wants to kill the people we want to kill.
It wants to kill people. If it wants to kill people in Rothaven, where's it going to stop? That's usually what happens with a revolution. A revolution has to have a stop, otherwise it just becomes more tyranny.
The thing of it is they had a very specific target, and that was the Dock family, because they were the ones that controlled the fishing.
So now that they're gone, is the creature gone, or is it still lingering?
I have no idea on that.
Hmm.
It could be.
We saw it came out of the whale. I'm assuming it's a man on land. Should be easy to find though if it's a big blue thing.
You say that.
Yeah, you say that. Then again, it could have, once it finished its task, it could have just basically dissolved back into the water. To be honest, I have no idea.
This sounds like nothing I've ever heard of ever.
Well, it's just a legend just so recently made.
Maybe it's a legend that we should spread.
It's possible.
Well, we're gonna get Ramsey to go into the ocean to fight it.
I mean, that's not a horrible idea.
I mean, it is, because we have no way to follow him.
I don't think we'd need to. I get that Ramsey's pretty good and everything. I'm a good hunter and everything, but it seems like you're trying to fight the ocean floor itself.
Yeah, I mean, to be
There
honest,
is that.
I think it is some sort of otherworldly being.
Besides which, if we sent him to go and kill that thing, if he did actually kill it, he's going to come back pretty messed up. Then we kill two birds with one stone. The sea would become free,
Yeah.
and so would we.
Besides, there's a difference between being good with, like, a wolf and being good with an owlbear and being good with, you know, the personification of the ocean. They're slightly
Yeah.
different.
Yeah, this is basically, I think, just a twisted manifestation of the ocean itself, basically fighting back.
Yeah, I feel like that's probably not under the jurisdiction of a beast.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'm
maybe,
pretty sure I got all that right there, Des.
So maybe that's an alternate plan. I don't know. What do you think seems more likely?
The only
I
thing
would-
you got wrong was with the quote. It's
Yeah.
threw you away like chum. Take your vengeance.
No, take your vengeance.
Take our vengeance.
Right.
I would much rather take him out myself. I feel more confident if I've taken something out myself. I don't like the idea of someone going MIA and then coming back later.
Yeah, from history, that's... People need to stay dead. Why can't people stay dead? When did
But,
people not staying dead become the norm?
I don't know.
Ever since I met you guys.
Says the people who literally have raised dead.
I mean,
What?
What? Both Amara and Alistair are confused. What?
The priest literally brought somebody back to life.
as I do, yeah.
Yeah, we haven't though. Before we met you guys, people
Yeah,
stayed dead.
Yeah, but they came back on their own.
Yeah, not through, divine magic.
Just some dude went, we cut off some dude's head and he just went, oh lol, tricked you. I'm still alive. Somehow.
Where your head at?
Right.
Okay.
That's a fair point, actually. Killing Hammock is going to be a pain because we already tried to do it once and it didn't work. We want to make sure we do it properly this time. And
This time.
and probably do whatever we do. We need to do it all three of them. We need to make sure that we correctly dispose of all three of them. I don't know how we're going to do that.
Lots of fire.
Shimmer.
I know for definite that the dragon didn't come back, and the reason for that is because Shimmer burnt the body.
That's a good point, and that was what Merak told us. When he absolutely lost his mind, when we told him we killed Hammock, he said, "Did you burn the head?" And we said no, and he went berserk.
Yeah.
So
Seems
yeah.
like such a nice guy. I can see why you guys stay around him so much. Just so we're outside, just get.
Hmm.
But well,
And with this, as you guys are all sat here doing your discussions and talks, we're going to take a quick break.
Cool.
Remember to have a game tea, everybody.
We shall be back very soon. Hello, everyone.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen.
So, we have formulated a plan, in theory.
You have. One thing I am noticing, though, is not to be prude, but prudent about it. None of you have a guide.
Well, slid
We
that
thought
in.
you were our guide.
Slid that in like a stone, didn't you? It's got subtle carved on it.
Dun, 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 dun.
I want to get a minute into this session. Fuck off.
It's not whatever.
One thing I'm aware of is this is a place where you don't know the streets, you're going to go missing quick. Now, I know this place like the back of my hand, but I can't follow you around like a nanny. I've got a few contacts in the city. One's currently finishing up a job. Told him to come back to me as soon as they're done, so we'll see how long. So, back to business anyway.
Ooh, maybe he's here.
It's not me locking the door. You don't come
Is that
in.
coincidence knocking? You're right, darling. You spat out your drink.
This is not the port city of convenience.
Ring a ding
Well,
ding.
whatever you need, just float straight in.
After your contact has finished their trip, are they likely to return here, or?
Yep. Wants to get paid, he has to come back here.
Okay. Well, while we wait for that, the first step of our plan was to go investigate the dock. We now no longer need to do that. So, what was step 2?
Step 2 was to go and talk to Oldley
Okay. So there we go.
and potentially Truesdale and Wheaton.
Okay. So we need you to organise meetings for us then.
I can do that. I can definitely organize between Truesdale and Audley.
Okay. So if that's what we're doing next, we need to work out what we're going to say. Don't all speak at once.
Be professional with either of them. That's all I'm going to say.
We were waiting for you, leader.
That
As somebody who's also part of the Talon, you'd surely be able to negotiate some sort of agreeable circumstances.
Audley
Then-
is very well respected among our group anyway, so wouldn't be out of the realms of
Put the knife
possibility to
away,
say.
It's not a knife. It's blunt.
Not all knives do slashing damage.
Is she actually a member, or is she just somebody who is aware of the presence of the guild?
She's aware of the presence of the guild and
Okay.
the Raven, and the Raven has enough respect to her to not treat her like a fool. And she's got enough wisdom to be aware that she could become a liability, so she plays it careful.
Fair enough. So that's probably worth mentioning to sort of bring things in our favour, in that not only are we offering the prospect of trade at Duskhaven, but this is something that could shine her in a better light with the guild and the Raven.
I like how you said that and your light moved.
It's a sign! I literally looked at it and I was like, what has caused that? There's nothing here.
Hello, my dear.
Unhappy.
The toxicity of this city, of this city.
I'm very unhappy right now. I'd get enough birds following me around during the day.
So then, be polite, introduce yourself as a member of the Talon to her. You're not a member of the Talon to anyone else. We don't exist. My contacts don't even know they exist.
So, just me. Don't mention anybody else.
Well, you are here to make a deal that you have planned out with her. Not their Talon has come to speak with her. You're gonna have to word this your way to get in. I've thankfully managed to build up enough of a thing to just say, drop my name. If you wanted to,
Right.
you could perhaps drop mine and use that as your in.
Well, you're the one who's going to be organising the meeting, so I'm supposing that's probably going to be a given.
I'll organize one of them.
Fair enough.
Challenge is also being able to organize meetings. That's a bit of a difficulty that most of us have to go through. Should learn how to do that. Now that I
Thanks.
know this is actually your task, that's a pretty
Thanks,
important
that's
thing to learn.
fair. That's fair. Right, well, with a lot of these people, they generally don't do a lot of this stuff by themselves, so who is her contact that I go to say I want to speak with her?
Oh, she literally runs the bank. You could just walk straight up to it and begin inquiring. Say that you wish to lodge a very large sum of money, and say that you need the best to help you organize it. Something like that will probably swoon the plebs to get out of your way.
Fair enough.
Okay. As you are all discussing, you do hear 4 raps at the door. It's open! And the door flings open, and you see a younger man, long blonde hair, with this heavy leather suit of armor on, jerkin, this heavy black overcoat atop it. There is a rifle to the back with the butt of it sticking up. There is a purple and silver scarf that is draped around the neck and hangs a bit low, and a wide-brimmed hat with a feather through. As he's there, smiling, hands crossed, you see that his right hand has one dark glove on it, or there's one dark glove to his hands, and it is fingerless. There is, and for Delmara, above all else, because you have a passive perception of 20-fucking-5, you can see that he has something holstered to his hip, and to the other side of it, a rapier.
I have 22.
You can see that he has cowboy boots.
Yay!
Well, howdy there, folks. I heard you need a guide.
I don't know how to respond to this.
Well, our temporary leader.
I'm just gonna post this into the Blood and Sand group, and I'm just gonna leave that there.
What's worse is that would actually kind of work for him.
Oh, Jesus.
The mental image going through my head, I was like, I know this guy. I've met this guy. This guy's an asshole. I might like him.
You want me to use that as your icon?
You kind of. You need to
Put
be
it in his-
yes.
That is Irvin from Final Fantasy VIII, the heartthrob.
Worse things.
I think that works.
Hang on, I'm gonna give you a little icon barrier. You guys can interact as you're there.
So, Lando, what's my next job?
These dipshits, they're new to town.
Excuse you?
We are.
Yeah,
Um,
but given everything that's happening, a little bit more respect is appreciated.
Oh, of
Respect's
course,
earned.
yeah. You're a Talon member now.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
I stand in the doorway and
I'm kind of a dipshit,
I
but-
survey the group, and I'm like, well, my, you do like to drag some quite new people around here.
Yeah, we have a Goliath that looks like they're about as subtle as
Das.
keg. Keg of explosive.
Sorry.
Scratch my,
Speed came
proceeds
to
to
me there.
scratch her butt with a hook.
I'll just describe the party. You see a enrobed dragonborn, gold scaled, very muscular individual, very keen, glimmering eyes. You see arrogance incarnate with a bow on its back, wearing a suit of armor made seemingly out of the hide of some beast. It looks more like it's plates than anything else. What else? Who else do you see? You see a cleric in heavy armor. Looks like he's probably got some other training in physicality. Very broad, tough, long individual.
Don't forget the mustache.
He has a still now growing back, beautiful pink mustache.
I'd like to point out that I have double gold scales.
The old Dragonborn of the Gold Sorcerer.
He's so shiny.
Oh my, Lander. You have brought me some new friends.
For now, anyway. They're going to be contacting Audley, and I'll be speaking to Truesdale on their behalf. You know the way back to the bank, yeah?
Yeah, of course.
Good, good. That's going to be their first port of call, I think. They're going to be very active and very enthusiastic in reformation, shall we say. So I need you to follow their lead. Report back on the details that are the most important to my interests. Besides that, just keep your lips quiet to anyone that's not in this room about who they are, what they are, and what they're here doing.
Of course, man. You know me.
And he reaches down and flings you a bag. You reach out and catch it. It just poof into the side of your chest.
Mm-hmm.
You hang on to it with both hands. You have 50 platinum.
Mighty fine. I'll catch that later, and I hook it back into my bag, and
You just drop it into the bag.
yeah, and I say, well, what you standing there gulping for? Let's go.
You're the one who's supposed to be leading.
Yeah, I'm waiting for you.
Grunt, get up.
Some of
get
you are
up,
still sat
right?
down, yeah.
I swing myself up and I outstretch my right hand and I say, Alistair Dartwood, Hunter Extraordinaire, at your service.
I walk up and survey this gentleman. I
This
guess.
strapping gentleman.
Calfey Ravenstone, at your service. And I shake his hand.
Alistair,
Ravenstone.
you're way stronger than this guy. You put your hand to him and it's like, oh, he's a paperweight. Blue, he's got 8 strength. So you're not the weakest in the party
How
anymore.
did you even manage that?
He kept an 8!
You purposely
egg.
kept it, fair enough.
Now that I'm
You ever
up
play
close-
to your strengths or your weaknesses?
Yeah, play to your strengths with no strength. Okay, I like your logic. It's very well.
It's better than someone else's logic.
Now that I'm up close and personal with this guy, what can I determine from him? What does he look like? What's his race? What's he
human.
wearing? He's human.
He's a human with leather armor on, as I described, quite detailed.
Mm-hmm. Like a weathered, dirty black cloak on, and you can see
Beautiful
some sort of like big, beautiful blue eyes, but you do catch that there is some like weathering, and he's seen some stuff. But he's
Fairly young.
yeah, fairly young, probably late 20s, early 30s.
World where you
Maybe
look upon him.
Slightly older than me then. Oh, actually, hang on a minute. We need to clarify that. How
Oh
old am I?
wait! You got aged!
And no one's brought you back. Oh yeah, how many?
We
was
all
that again?
forgot about that. I think
How
it was.
many D10 was that rolled again?
I think it was only 10 years.
I've been aged
No,
10
it was more than
years.
10 years. I think it was more than 10.
I'm 36. I wrote it down. I aged by 10
yeah.
years.
He aged by
'cause I'm
10 years.
older than
10
me. I based Alistair off myself.
Yeah.
It shows.
Well, Alistair, you can call me Cal. Let's go. And I want to sort of lead them out of wherever we are. I've not been told where we are. Up towards the street.
Currently,
Uh,
I'll explain to
Grant
you.
will. Sorry, again.
I'll explain to you. You came in from the sewers down below, on the far side near the docks. You came up through one of his access points, and you found yourself in a small storeroom with a door. You, in this area, had to knock 4 times, and the door opened up into Lander's office.
Okay.
When you step back out, you'll be closer to dockside
But we don't want
than
to.
these guys were coming
And
in.
we don't want to. Oh, we want to go that way.
Currently, the bank is relatively close to the dock side. It's more like, say, 2 streets in from the actual dock itself, shall we say.
Okay, so it's about to go back the way we came. Well, I came. Okay.
I'll say as well, because you are very familiar with the city, these guys won't need to make checks to actually navigate the sewers. You know where to avoid the cleaning crew, which is a gelatinous cube,
Mm-hmm.
and you know where to avoid some of the very beautiful people, in quotation marks, of the sewers,
Yeah.
like the trolls.
So I'll
So you
leave
give
them.
them a free pass, basically, to wherever you want to in the city. And now, I'll bring you guys back to the beautiful Rothaven map.
So I'm gonna
Grunge will
work.
introduce herself to this new friend by giving her name. So she goes up to him and goes, "Grunge."
I go. Well, howdy there, young miss.
This is a
that right?
Goliath that's about 8 foot tall and is nearly twice as wide as you are.
Well, aren't you a mighty strong one?
Miss.
I just like start looking up at her and I'm like, well, you're probably one of the biggest ones I've seen. I bet you can do some damage.
She nods.
Cue the
He nods
flex tape.
enthusiastically.
Nice to meet you.
I'm inspecting his armor.
It's good crafted leather.
Any
Definitely worn.
definitely worn. Okay.
This is Grunt. She doesn't say a lot. She will communicate mainly via pictures, but she's very loyal and very loving. This
Like
is
a
Buckley.
Labrador.
He's our
Nice to
man of
meet you.
faith. He can
Well, I'm
both
not
fix things and make things.
I'm not a man of faith myself, but each into their own. Nice to meet you. And I extend a hand to Buckley.
I'm checking out the glove. You know.
It's,
For
it
inspection.
looks like he's actually cut the fingers off of the glove itself. A little tattered on the edges. Cal, as you grab his hand, he's stronger than Alistair is. And it's like... It's basically like you've just gone up in strength, and it's like his hand just like creeps over yours almost entirely. Your hands are very delicate, very
Nimble,
fine hands
yeah.
for detailed work. This is just a mitt that went boom on yours.
Mighty fine. We got a strong party. I now know
You
why.
don't even want to shake Grunt's hand.
Now I
Smart
know.
enough to look at Grunt and go, no, 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 no.
I just nod politely to Grunt. Like,
There's
Not really into shaking hands, but yeah.
I go,
Yeah, that's
well,
I shake his hand.
hello.
I'm Shimmer.
He's weaker than Alistair, but barely.
Billy.
It's a
Well, now I
sorcerer
know
that's
why
stronger than
you.
you.
Yeah, I now know why you've all been hired. So, I know a few connections around here, but you're gonna need to like let me in on what you guys need to do, and I can put you in the contacts with the people that I know. But you need to go to the bank first.
Mm-hmm.
Am I right?
Yes, we're going to go
Yeah,
speak
sure.
to Audley.
Let's take this left down here. You don't want to take the right here. And then
And
lead them
nudge
through this.
Delmara in the back. You'd introduce yourself. Let him know that you're the leader. Common trend among alphas.
Look, I'm trying to get used to this, okay? Give me a chance.
Delmara, so, do you want to share our plan with our guide?
Oh, hi there. I didn't spot you behind the mountains that are your party members.
Yes, that's my job to not get spotted.
Oh, it's nice
She's
to
a
meet
little
you.
baby, and I pat her on the head.
If looks could kill.
Oh,
I'd
you're
be dead a
the
long time ago.
you're the contact that Lander sent. You're the main guy or girl. I'm sorry. I don't want to assume.
Yeah,
you know?
there is a look. I beg your pardon.
Well, it's very nice to meet you. And I extend a gloved hand.
If looks
Just
could
because
kill,
she's
she
up
puts the
doesn't mean
bitch
she's automatically
in
female.
obituary.
I give him a
Can I
bit.
look up and down and like
I'm looking him up and down
sort
as
of,
well.
of a sense of like
How tall are you,
how she
Valkyrie?
how she fits.
6
I'm a
foot.
good 6 foot, 6 foot, maybe more. I'm probably like very well built.
Why am I still the smallest?
Why is everybody so bloody tall?
You're a big lad, but you're not a muscular lad.
Yeah, I'm not muscular. I'm just quite a little bit like not skinny, but on the thinner side of a build.
Mhm.
I took the average height, so you know.
Same.
I'm a Goliath. Barbarian bear.
About
I-
6
I-
foot.
I took
I'm
what was
claiming
classed as a
halfling.
tall height. Yeah, I'm
Well,
I'm also 6 foot, but I am definitely further down on the thinness scale.
Well,
Yeah.
being the romantic that I am, I take Delmara's hand and I just give her a gentle kiss and go, I look forward to working with you, and let her go. And turn
Have
away.
fun with that.
Make an intelligence check.
I don't know how to help.
Okay.
Click
so
the
go
word
to core
intelligence.
stats
Kick the
and
word
click the word
intelligence.
intelligence. Like, say, see where you have strength, dex, all that down in a line? Click the actual word intelligence. When you hover your mouse over it, it'll be red. Okay. With the 11, you think to do this, and there's just this look of internal hatred on her when that notion passes your head, and you
I
think
go-
better of it.
I go, I just do like a small little bow and then pull out of it.
It's backed up by
As he
Alistair's
does
glare.
that,
He
I
does
go, have fun with that, and I kind of rub my cheek scar.
He does the whole
Yeah.
Lowers
Ah,
in the
okay.
hand, back up to the head.
Tip
Alright,
the
well,
hat.
I gotta go mow the grass. So
Okay, that's
Oh,
fine,
okay.
because I'm going to call it there.
Oh, fair
As
enough.
Calfrey leads you down, begins moving you all to the bank. We will end the session there.
Cool. That was good.
Goodbye,
Have a cup of
everybody.
dainty, everybody, and
See
thanks for
ya.
joining us.
Hopefully we'll see you next week. Take care,
Next
everybody.
time on Blood and Sand.
Ba-ba-ba.